Asyik berapa itu bumat.
Itu tuh mana kota?
Kerana pot lah.
Itu tuh bumi?
Kerana pot oleh. No, masih udah nih.
Masih.
Ini lah.
Tem, fica lá, mas... Kakak. Dia lagi nak bayar sama lah. Sammy. Tete. Sammy. Sammy. Negyono sonna mi. Sammy, abite baba. Sammy. Devo che la mutila encore. Yes. What you're watching and what you're listening is what I grew up in. In Cité Soleil, Haiti, that's how I grew up. Gunshots every day, shootings, and people are killing each other for what? For nothing. This is what growing up in Haiti to me was like when I was young. Until I moved to the US, that was the lifestyle I had. Growing up in the ghetto of Cité Soleil, every day was gunshots. Every day, all day. Most of the times, we don't spend a week without the gunshots. I mean, it comes in waves, right? Sometimes you have gunshots almost every day, and then you have a day off. Call it that because that's the way we used to call it. And the next day, back to it again. Sometimes it will happen for months. Sometimes we'll get a few months off without any gunshots. And after that, next thing you know, gangs from different cities will invade our city and they'll be shooting and killing kids, adults, innocent, died for nothing. Women get raped, men get killed. Unfortunately, that was the lifestyle growing up for me in Haiti. A lot of people used to flee from other neighborhoods because where I grew up in the ghetto of Cité Soleil, it's like the slums of Cité Soleil. It was really hard to stay when other gangs will invade certain neighborhoods. And if you had the chance to flee to a different, like next door neighbor, let's just the neighboring areas where it wasn't happening, then you'll be able to go there, spend for a few days, and probably like come back after a while. But most of the time, that was the lifestyle. So you had to literally leave your house with whatever you were wearing, no money, no nothing, and you just flee to save yourself. And that's the lifestyle. That's the way that lots of people grew up within the country and different areas, with all the gang violence and the shooting and everything. So we had no choice but to live that life. Unfortunately, now things just got worse, like worse and worse. Because before, there were like other neighborhoods that you can flee from your neighborhood and go stay for a few days with family members or friends. But now, there is no safe place in Haiti. The whole country, I will say, is like invaded by gangs. And now that they have created a coalition to two different main group of gangs controlling the whole country now, there's no place to go. You can't go to any places in Haiti right now without having a gang that controls this area. Sadly, there's no government. There's no local police that can do anything. The sad reality is that even within the police, there are corrupt cops that are also involved with the gangs. They're either on the gangs payroll, they're either like infiltrators for the gangs, they're either like people that are like giving information to the gangs, especially when cops are planning to go raiding some places. The gangs will know about it and they will set traps for the cops. Unfortunately, a lot of cops died because of that. And there's nowhere in the country that you can go that it's not the same. Unfortunately, I grew up in this kind of environment. With people fleeing the country now and finding places and elsewhere to live and find a better place and a better life, because I still have my family living in Haiti in those conditions. When people flee this place to go somewhere else, they have no choice but to do so to find a better life for themselves and their family. Sometimes the dad will flee, sometimes the mom will flee with the kids, or sometimes they will send their kids somewhere else to live while they remain in this kind of lifestyle, suffering the daily life of the gangs violence, the raping, the kidnapping, and the killing. Unfortunately, there's nothing that can be done. Nothing other than fleeing and running away. People don't run away and leave Haiti because they want to. They leave it to save themselves, not by choice, because that's the only way out. You stay, you die, or you stay at the mercy of the gangs. And sometimes even the police brutality is no different than the gangs. In a lot of cases, you might end up seeing the gangs also having mercy on some people when the cops, they don't. The cops don't really make distinctions between the Haitian innocent civilians and those that are gangs, because to the cops, and I remember clearly one of the cops said to us in our neighborhood, because we grew up in Cité Soleil, me and my friends and our family members, and I remember clearly one of the cops says to us, there's no innocent in Cité Soleil. Because to him, anybody who remains in Cité Soleil are just as bad as the gangs. Because if we were not bad like the gangs, then we will flee. But what he didn't know is that we don't have a choice. We never had a choice but to either endure what's happening or die. And the few of us that made it alive are just fortunate. I mean, we know better than the ones who remains. We know better than the ones that still lives in those conditions because they don't have anywhere else to go. We were just lucky and fortunate, I would say, that we made it out and we live in a different place now. And the sad thing about it is that while some of us made it out alive and have the opportunity or the privilege or, I mean, the luck to make it out, we still have our families, friends that still remains in these places. They still living in those places and have no way out, sadly. And this is the lifestyle of any Haitians who grew up in Haiti, because that's just the lifestyle in the country. I mean, since the assassination of the president Jovenel Moise, things have gone to worse, and it's just keep getting worse. They talk of elections, but this is not likely something to happen anytime soon, because the politicians do one thing: fill their pockets. Every time somebody gets into power, they do nothing but filling their pockets, and they're always working with the gangs. And that's no lie. I've witnessed it all. Believe me, I'm not just making this video just to get views and followers. This is my life growing up in the slums of Cité Soleil, one of the most dangerous places in Haiti. That's where I grew up. I'm just lucky, blessed, fortunate. Yeah, this is Haiti for you, my friend. And it's sad that despite the courage, the strength of some people who made it out and moved here into the United States, some come here because their family helped them and they helped them get legal status. Some came here through the Biden administration because it was designed to help people flee a war zone. Because right now, these people have the opportunity to be able to help their families. They have the opportunity to do good and help their family and feed them, which I know a lot of people have been able to get the job and send money back home to help their family. They're not fleeing because they are gangsters. They're not fleeing because they had a choice. They are not fleeing because they wanted to. They're fleeing because they had to. They had no choice but to save themselves. Their family had no choice but to sell their goats, sell their cows, sell their donkeys, sell their mules, and sell their horses to collect money and put money together to give to their family, to be able to afford a passport, to be able to afford a plane ticket, to move here, to be able to find a place to rent, find a place to stay, to live. Because hope is all they had. Hope of a better life, hope of living the hell that we grew up in. Because to be honest, that's what I call Haiti most of the time. Hell. Because there's no, I can't call it where, I can't call it nothing else but the hell where I was living. As beautiful as it used to be growing up, as amazing as it used to be growing up, when I look back, it was nothing but a hell for me. Yes, I was happy, but I was happy in hell. Yes, I was living, but I was living in hell. I mean, I'm not even going to call that living. I'm honestly going to call it surviving hell. Because living means you have all the conditions and you don't have to fear for your life. You don't have to worry about if you're going to live the next day. But that's what it was to me. Surviving next day. Surviving next hour. That's what it was. And that's what it was for a lot of people that I know. And I can say that's what it was for pretty much everybody that I know where I grew up in Cité Soleil Slums. Yeah. So compassion, love, and loving your neighbors. Why can't we just do that? And it's not just for Haiti, because I know while here we have a problem with immigration. It's not just for Haitians. It's for anybody else who moved to the United States from a different country. A lot of those people did not flee because they just wanted to leave their home country. They fled because they had no choice. They fled because they were being persecuted, raped, murdered by gangs, by their local government, by people who didn't like their religions. They were fleeing to save their lives, to save their children's lives, to save their family, their mom, their dads, and all that. And the sad story is sometimes some parents will put money together to send their kids away, to send their brothers, their sisters away, and they will stay behind. As long as one of the family members made it out alive, they didn't care about themselves. It was the selfless act to save one of their own. I still have my mom in Haiti. Yeah. I mean, I was fortunate that I found a woman who fell in love with me and loved me. And through marriage, I was able to move here in the United States. So I was not really fleeing because at the time I was just living the life that I had until I met my mom, my kid's mom, and we got married through a legal marriage, and then we did everything right because we fell in love, and thank God we're blessed with 2 children. But if it wasn't for her, I would still be living in Haiti. Yeah, I was still living the same life, fleeing for my life and surviving it. Because there will be time when I'm coming home from soccer practice. By the time I get probably like a mile away from my house, I'll have to turn around and go back to someplace else with friends because my neighborhood will be invaded by gangs and I couldn't go home. I'll spend 2 or 3 days outside of my neighborhood living with some friends until things quiet down. I won't know where my mom is. I won't know where my brother is. I won't know where my sister is, because since I was out, I couldn't go in. So I had to remain outside for 2 or 3 days. And when we come back, then I will be like, where's my mom? Where's my sister? Where's my brother? Because I don't know what happened to them, because I couldn't go home. I had to remain outside the city. Yeah, I had to remain outside of the city because I couldn't go home. And that happened so many times, whether it's coming home from school or church or a party or visiting a friend or soccer practice. Sometimes you go out and you don't even know if you can make it back in. That is the lifestyle of living in Haiti. Even now when people go out, their family members are like, they're probably on their knees hoping that they will come back home that day, because it's not likely that you go out taking care of your business, taking care of your little street store or something, looking for food for your kids to bring to the table that night. Most of the time, some people don't make it out alive. So when someone go from living that lifestyle, growing up in it and living it, and then God moved you and brought you to some other place to at least live a little, to at least know what it's like to be alive and not having to worry about your life, not having to worry about food on your table, not having to worry about safety for your kids. It's a blessing. And it's sad that people don't know that. And even those who knows the lifestyle of some Haitians, or people that from Mexico, or people from Nicaragua, from Venezuela, from different places in the world, Somali, India, and wherever people come from, Africa, they still don't try to understand that I'm here not by choice. Some people are here in the US not by choice. They're here because they were fleeing persecution. They were fleeing like war zone. They were fleeing to save their lives, their children's life. Please have compassion. Please treat them with love and respect. When we claim that we are Christians, treat people like we are. Because if we quote the Bible a lot saying that we're Christians, it says on the Bible, if we go with Luke 10 verse 25 to 33 or 35 or more, I don't know exactly, it says, love thy neighbor. Love your neighbors, please. And there's the story of the Good Samaritan, which is a clear example of loving for your neighbors. Treat your neighbors like you want to be treated. Love your neighbors. Have compassion. Care for each other. Have some heart, really. It's heartbreaking what's happening in this country. It's heartbreaking how people are being treated like they are inhumane. It's inhumane what I'm seeing. Have compassion. It could have been you. Yes, I get it. They're not from here. I'm not from here. But we all from somewhere else. We all had to move from one place to move to a better place. For some reason, our parents, our great-great-parents, somebody had to do it. We know better than nobody. We all had to move from one place to another place for reasons, for whatever reason. We had to do that for better life. So let's treat others the same way that we want to be treated. Let's have compassion. Let's love one another.